What if Donald Trump could run for a third term? Despite the U.S. Constitution's clear limits, Trump's latest statement has sparked a firestorm of debate. Could America see an unprecedented political showdown? And what does this mean for the 2028 election? Stay with us as we break down the facts and the fallout. Welcome to TVAI, your go-to source for international news and deep geopolitical analysis. Today, we dive into a political controversy shaking the U.S., Donald Trump hinting at a third-term run. Let's dissect this explosive claim, the legal roadblocks, and how the world is reacting. In a recent rally in Florida, Trump made a bold claim. "People are telling me, sir, we need you for another 4 years, maybe even longer." While he didn't explicitly declare his intention, the implication sent shockwaves through political circles. His supporters erupted in applause, while critics accused him of undermining democracy. This statement aligns with Trump's past rhetoric. During his first term, he frequently joked about extending his presidency beyond 2 terms. Now, with the 2028 election on the horizon, his words carry new weight. But can he really do it? The 22nd Amendment to the U.S. Constitution, ratified in 1951, strictly limits presidents to 2 terms. This rule was introduced after Franklin D. Roosevelt served 4 terms, ensuring no single leader could hold excessive power. For Trump to secure a third term, the Constitution would need to be amended, a near-impossible feat. It requires approval from 2/3 of both the House and Senate, plus ratification from 38 states. Given the current political landscape, this scenario is highly unlikely. Reactions have been swift. Democrats denounced Trump's suggestion as an attack on democracy, while even some Republicans remain cautious. Political analysts suggest this is more about maintaining his influence rather than a serious legal challenge. Social media exploded with reactions. Hashtags like #NoThirdTerm and #Trump2028 trended on Twitter, while conservative voices argued that the people should decide. Meanwhile, legal experts weighed in, reinforcing that the amendment is ironclad. Even if Trump can't run, his influence in the 2028 race is undeniable. Will he endorse a candidate who continues his legacy? Could his son, Donald Trump Jr., or another MAGA figure step in? Political strategists say Trump's words could serve as a rallying cry for his base, keeping the Republican Party under his influence. On the other hand, this controversy might energize Democrats to push for stronger safeguards against potential authoritarian shifts. World leaders are watching closely. Allies in Europe expressed concern over Trump's rhetoric, while adversaries like China and Russia highlighted as evidence of U.S. political instability. Meanwhile, in global markets, investors are factoring in potential shifts in American leadership. Beyond the political implications, Trump's influence over the Republican Party remains a crucial factor. His endorsement has historically determined the outcome of many primaries, and his approval among conservative voters is still significant. If he were to throw his full support behind a specific candidate, that individual could dominate the GOP primaries. Moreover, recent polling data suggests that Trump remains one of the most polarizing figures in American politics. While he commands fierce loyalty among his base, he also faces strong opposition from a majority of independent voters. This means that any attempt to challenge the 22nd Amendment would not only be legally impossible, but also politically dangerous. What happens next? Some political analysts predict that Trump will continue using this rhetoric as a way to mobilize his base without actually pushing for a legal change. Others speculate that he might attempt an unconventional path, perhaps by trying to install a close ally in power while retaining de facto influence behind the scenes. Meanwhile, opponents of Trump are already using his statements as fuel to energize their own campaigns. Democratic strategists warn that even if Trump cannot run, his influence on the Republican agenda will shape the policies and direction of the next presidential race. In the broader context, this discussion highlights a deeper issue in American politics: the increasing trend of political figures challenging long-established democratic norms. Whether it's Trump's third-term rhetoric or other challenges to institutional rules, the evolving landscape suggests that the 2028 election will be one of the most contentious in modern history. Beyond the political sphere, this controversy raises questions about the role of media in shaping public perception. Conservative outlets largely frame Trump's statement as a hypothetical discussion fueled by widespread voter dissatisfaction, while liberal-leaning platforms see it as a calculated move to test the boundaries of the Constitution. The contrast in coverage further amplifies the political divide in the U.S. The Supreme Court could also play a role in this debate. While the constitutional language is clear, some legal experts argue that a challenge could theoretically reach the courts if an attempt was made to bypass the amendment. However, most analysts agree that the judiciary would uphold the existing law without hesitation. Public opinion remains deeply divided. While Trump supporters argue that his leadership is necessary for America's future, his critics warn that any effort to extend presidential terms could erode democratic institutions. This stark contrast underscores the challenges of governing in an era of hyper-partisan politics. As we look ahead to the next few years, one thing is clear: Trump's influence is not fading. Whether through his media presence, his endorsements, or his potential role as a kingmaker in the GOP, his impact on American politics will be felt for years to come. The question is not just whether Trump can run again, but how far his influence will reach. Beyond U.S. borders, this situation is being closely monitored. European allies fear that a prolonged Trump influence could strain transatlantic relations, while China and Russia use the uncertainty to push their own narratives about American instability. At the same time, global businesses are recalibrating strategies, preparing for potential shifts in trade policies and diplomatic approaches depending on Trump's continued political relevance. Meanwhile, within the Republican Party, this development could accelerate an internal struggle between traditional conservatives and the MAGA movement. If Trump's grip remains strong, moderates may find it increasingly difficult to navigate party politics, further polarizing the right-wing base. Additionally, historians and political scientists argue that this moment is part of a larger trend in global politics, where democratic institutions face unprecedented challenges. From Brazil to Hungary, strongman-style leadership continues to gain traction, and Trump's rhetoric feeds into this broader pattern. So, is Trump's third-term talk just another political stunt, or a sign of deeper ambitions? While the law seems clear, in today's political climate, nothing is off the table. What do you think? Drop your thoughts in the comments below. Subscribe to TV AI for more sharp analysis and breaking news. Stay informed, stay engaged. See you in the next report.